Carson hosts of Are with you, Todd Bodine and Amanda Busick covering all the action on pit road. Fans are excited. You heard Grant talk about the welcome that he's gotten driving into the racetrack. It's just felt so good. He said warm and fuzzy.
There's a great crowd for this afternoon's race. We're going to have a lot of action in this race. I think Rockingham is back, and I hope it's back for a long time to come because just so cool being here.
The trucks are back on the racetrack with qualifying. Timmy Hill firing off here for qualifying. This is the most nerve-wracking here. Fresh rubber, the worst the racetrack's going to be for qualifying right here, Timmy Hill.
I just always remember, Carson, leaving pit road, having to steam down into turn 3 as hard as you can to see what you got, to see if your truck's going to be loose, is it going to be tight, and then you go to turn 1 and have to deal with whatever situation you have. And Timmy's hard on the gas, as we can tell. Up the hill he goes a bit off turn 4, but cranked her back down to the bottom.
Now, one thing I think we're going to see here is they're going to dive all the way off turn 4. They're going to dive all the way left because there's a little bit of a turn in the front stretch here that they're going to want to take advantage and cut as much distance. Timmy almost did it, but let's hear from Amanda first.
Hey Carson, I'm standing by with Brian Patty, his driver, just said off camera that this guy gets more TV time than he does. But Carson Hocevar was telling us when you get back to the shop, he tells you that you've lost, what you need to do better. A response for Carson who's watching this?
He better bring his A game come Texas. Yeah, he's good fun. Obviously, I'm ultra competitive, right? You see that in the Cup Series every weekend. So looking forward to putting him in our 7 truck for the next 6 or 7 races to, hopefully get some trophies.
Carson, he also told me to tell you to text him. I don't know if that means you're in trouble or not, bud.
No, it just means I'm really bad at responding, which is per normal. But I've reminded Patty that there was a lot of times where me and Phil would beat him a lot. So there's not a lot of excuse that I'm just gonna remind him if we do run second or worse, which hopefully we don't, that it's gonna be on the shoulders of Brian. So he better bring his A game is what I always remind him.
Well, Norm Benning at 73 years old, he's always bringing his A game. Norm is back in the field. He's been here before in a truck at Rockingham. Stephen Malazzi went out just before him with a 25:31, and Norm Benning. These laps are quick, boys. There's 1 lap, 1 round of qualifying.
That's right, and Timmy Hill, speaking of quick, he ran over 3/10 faster than he did in practice. So we had some concerns about what new tires on this racetrack with the rubber on the road could mean as Frankie Muniz takes the green flag. But it feels like, and what I'm seeing is a lot of grip even on these new tires on this hot pavement.
Definitely going to be a lot of grip. The track's not as rough as it's been, so they're going to lower the trucks. They're going to get a lot more rear side force, hopefully, into them. Ideally, I'm sure, get the trucks as low as they can and get the side skirts as close to the racetrack, as close to the road as possible, and really just put as much grip into those race trucks as possible. As you see Frankie Muniz finish the time. Going to go second right here. Frankie obviously hasn't, you saw the results a little bit ago, not having the year he wants to. Real high for Brandon Jones getting to run to the line.
Now that's going to hurt.
Super important.
That's going to really hurt this lap.
Only though if he had to lift. I'm not 100% sure. This is going to be the benchmark time. Tricon Garage obviously bringing a really fast truck. Truck already looks looser, wanted to a little bit. Going to be firing it down the backstretch. Hopefully really tidy to the line. Going to kind of slide up just a little bit off the bottom. Take advantage in the throttle. I think he had to lift a little bit. You see him dive all the way to the bottom, but definitely off of 4. Yeah, not a good lap right there. 23-23. Not very good compared to what I'm expecting. To Todd.
Here with Raja. Raja, earlier we talked in the garage area, and you were really happy at the practice, and you were excited about getting out for this practice. Just told me it's a little different than you expected.
Yeah, Todd, it's really cool, I think, to be at Rockingham. This is a place I've, outside of the test, only read about it in books and watched old races on YouTube. But it's definitely a little different than I expected. It's warmer, but we had some rule changes coming into this race, and it'll be interesting to see how it works. But I'm really excited about my HendrickCars.com Silverado, and super thankful to be here and represent Spire and Team Chevy. So hopefully we have a good race and keep stacking some top 10s.
There you go. Rule changes Raja was talking about. A little different gear combination in rear end, and it's thrown these guys for a little bit of a loop.
Hey, Todd, do you think he watched races so old on YouTube that you actually won?
Well, I don't know. Let me ask him. So, any of them YouTube races you watched, did I win it?
One of them.
You're supposed to say yes, Raja.
Well, I'm not talking about the last truck race, but I don't know. I saw like the last Cup race here with Tommy Baldwin, crew chiefing for Casey Kane. Dale Jarrett's last Cup win, or second to last Cup win.
So you went way back.
Way back.
Okay. Well, it's a different Rockingham now, so go get him.
Thanks.
Raja does his homework. He was only 10 years old the last time the Truck Series raced here, Michael.
That's so cool to hear him talk about the history of this sport. Casey Kane, I saw on his Instagram, he's riding down to Rockingham. He's going to go racing tomorrow in the Xfinity Series. It's Justin Carroll comes down through 3 and 4 to take the checker flag.
Really cool to have Casey Kane back. And by the way, he hasn't just been sitting around watching racing. He is racing every weekend out there. So we welcome him back to NASCAR. As you mentioned, they'll be on track later in the Xfinity Series as Tony Breidinger gets her shot at a fast lap here.
She had some good speed at Bristol. I was really impressed with her during the course race. Got in some trouble there, but she had some really good speed in the middle parts of that race. So see what she thinks about Rockingham. I think she's got her hands full right there. It looks like the truck was bobbing and weaving just a bit.
The different approaches coming to green, the straightaway, the way it is, I think has really opened up a lot of avenues that we can, I think when we see the more experienced guys that are going to do things different and think they can get an advantage, I think you're going to see a lot of different stuff, both coming to green and coming to the checkered, as Tony Breidinger going to go second right here.
Nice lap for Tony Breidinger, second, as plenty more drivers still to come.
Interesting time as a race car driver, isn't it, Carson? You've had a chance to watch other guys go. You know there's a lot of grip in the track with the speed you've seen out of some of them. Now you just got to go get it done. And you got to get it done in about 30 seconds or so.
Yeah, I mean, you had time to, especially when you had a break. We had that break. They sit there. You're the only truck. Everything gets really quiet, and then you have to go fire the lap up. And Connor Mozek had really good speed in practice. Been able to qualify pretty well here. Looked really good through 1 and 2. Going to look at, to try and, enter really low and kind of use that racetrack up a little bit and take advantage and try to. Actually, never mind. He's going to go as low as he can, and you're going to go quick time here. A 22.19, really, really fast lap right there.
That's a great lap for
truck
Connor.
Looked really stable. Now on board time at Jetski, going to be able to hear how little throttle or off throttle time these guys are doing in qualifying.
Ty Majeski, fastest in practice. Really happy with their adjustments, what they brought here to the racetrack. Think this will set the benchmark?
I don't know that Connor Mosak didn't just start it. That's 7, 8 tenths faster than we saw in practice. What a great lap for Connor.
Very little off throttle time, 1 and 2. Really low again off 4. Going to cut all the distance he can. Just like if you can get out of your seat almost and lead forward, I'm sure he does it at 22.24. Right, really impressive lap by Connor Mosak to outdo Majeski, who's been the fastest guy all here. As we're going to go down on pit road.
Well, his teammate Jake Garcia has had 3 top 10 finishes in a row. And Jake, you told me that you've always had the confidence, but now you have the truck. How much of a boost is that for you?
Yeah, we've had really good stuff this year and had really good speed. So, yeah, I'm really happy with our performances this year. I feel like we've been fast every week. So, and I think we kept that going here at Rockingham today. We've got a really good truck, and we're pretty quick in practice. So, definitely looking forward to qualifying here and the race tonight. I feel like it's gonna be a little hard to pass, so qualifying here today is gonna be really important. But just want to thank all my guys. We've got a good number 13 Quanta Services forward here today, so looking forward to it.
Thank you, Chuck. Good luck.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's been a great season for Jake Garcia. Stuart Friesen on track now. Luke Fenhouse just went before him with a nice lap, 22.37 for Fenhouse in the 66.
That 52 of Friesen looked really nice through 1 and 2. Wanders up the racetrack a lot more than he wants to there and into the out. Oh, man. That's a big bounce off that outside wall. Tried to keep his leg in it. Had a good lap going. You could see 22.62 despite that big hit. But that's the...
We saw it with Brandon Jones earlier. You get that high, you get that marbles on the tire. But this time he, landed there with not turned down the racetrack, right? He's just going to be in a 4-wheel slide. Similar to we see at Texas and early in the days in practice, just in the marbles.
Be interesting to see if they can fix that truck. Man, that was a big hit.
Is it a good thing for Parker Kligerman out here to probably not know what just happened to Stuart Friesen in the throttle? We're going to see that a lot of guys trying to commit off of 4. Parker Kligerman coming to the line here. Going to end up 5th, but I mean he's going to get that spot against Stewart because I'm sure he'll have to go work on it. But Parker, I'm sure not going to be super thrilled with that lap. But Chris Carrier, one of the guys that was able to be here and win with Nelson Piquet Jr. on the crew chief as the crew chief in 2012 here at Rockingham. So Chris Carrier knows how to get it done, and they both know how to get it done. Obviously, we talked about it at Daytona with them, winning and unfortunately get it taken away. I think that whole team probably is more motivated than most.
He's got his tools. He's ready to rock.
Tyler Ankrum and his crew chief there looking at some data down in the garage area. You can see it just loses grip right there. Bam. And I don't know.
It's a hard hit.
I'm not sure they might not have to go to a backup truck. I mean, that's a pretty big hit on that right front.
Well, it definitely obviously is cosmetic. That's just the worst case scenario. I mean, that's really hard. Broke the fender right there. Like you said, you'd maybe not go to a backup truck, but a lot of work to do, and it definitely is not going to be the same as you see Stewart there looking around. Obviously going to be very frustrated, but that's what that's going to be the limit. That's the trouble spot in qualified, right? Of just being able to commit a lot of throttle on exit because the way the track is, if you could get more, you think you can get it, and it's going to be an advantage, but you're going to be flirting with danger, as we saw Stewart, and that's going to set the tone for the rest of qualifying of where that limit is, and that's possible.
As we're talking about this and showing it on all the screens, all right, Bailey Curry, head out there and do your thing.
Well, I think everybody knows that, you've got to come to the green. I talked earlier about you've got to do it all in about 30 seconds. A lap takes 22. But you got to get through turns 3 and 4 to the green flag in order to be able to get that perfect lap. And you got to really push it hard down there. Stewart felt confident with his truck, tried to keep the gas down a little bit longer than he should have, obviously, and ended up in the outside wall as Bailey Curley just nicely makes his way off turn 2. That truck looks really smooth.
Looks like a really good lap. Really tidy through 3 and 4. Looking really good. Really low. Really, really low. Turns the wheel hard left. Going to come to the line. Let's see what he's got. Second right there, 22.208, only, less than a 100th almost to Connor Mozek's lap. Really, really strong lap time. See Matt Mills, his teammate, JF Electric, best start of 15th this season. They haven't really got going on this 42 truck quite yet, but hopefully, this could be a good one, but not a good start to lap already. Really high through 1 and 2 in that rubber. But yeah, with Bailey Curry and the 45 of Caden Honeycutt making those niche trucks go good, you sure with Mike Shiplet and everybody that 42 truck, that speed will trickle down to Matt, I'm sure.
I'm sure it's beneficial, or it's going to be, when you jump in that truck, or Ross does from time to time, for these guys to lean on you, talk to you, and you assessing just basically where the team is when you get behind the wheel.
Yeah, Andres Perez here, we've talked about him a little bit on the show already. Really, really strong. I like the kid a lot and what he's been able to accomplish. But this is a tough challenge for him to be able to fire off, but looking already really good through 1 and 2. That's going to be the tall cell sign to a good lap. If they're tidy through the corner and doesn't look like it bounds up, 3 and 4 is going to be your trouble spot. You're going to make your money or lose your money down here. Really, really tidy. That's the tidiest we've seen that far into the corner. Going to see if he cuts distance. Not quite. Can end up 6th there. I think he could have got some time by cutting, but maybe that's a little bit of inexperience there.
Fastest driver so far, it's Connor Mozek in the 81. Still to come, Matt Crafton. Raja Karuth will get his shot, and Daniel Hemrick already a win. Friesen smacked that wall. He's with Amanda.
Yeah, Jamie exited his truck, put his hand on his hip, and said, "I killed it." What happened?
Just trying to carry a lot of speed and not lift, and thought the right front might grip up a little bit at the 3/4 mark, and obviously it was a little bit dirty there and just pounded the fence pretty bad. So not the way to get on TV, after getting in that mess last week. And then, practice went well. We made some really good changes and had some good speed at the end, but just a little tight there. Thanks to Halmar and Mohawk and all our partners and all our supporters, up in the Northeast, all our great mod fans. Not the way to do it right now.
Stuart.
Thanks, Amanda.
Just tough for a veteran to go out there and make that mistake, because you see how tough turns 3 and 4 is. A lot of people struggling down there, but when you're an experienced veteran like Stuart, it just really breaks your heart that you go out there and make you were giving it all you got. He was obviously on the chip trying to get all the speed he could, just overdid it a bit.
Saw Dawson Sutton there, one of the rookies in the field, 9th quick, as we take a look at Tanner Gray on his hot lap.
He liked his truck in practice, said they made some good improvements to it, and looking forward to seeing what he can do. And what a nice line. He was really low in 1 and 2.
Hands were really smooth. You know, he's got those white gloves, so able to take advantage of that. Just sliding up a little bit off of 4, not 100% going to be able to cut as much as we've seen for the really good guys, but going to end up 4th here, still a solid lap.
Just a half a tenth off first. We're going to say that all throughout this session, how tight the competition is. Matt Craftsman was back in 26th, and see if he made improvements to that truck and get some more speed out of his Menards Ford.
You said half a tenth, but I guarantee for Tanner Gray, it felt like a country mile. We saw Ty Majeski go second on his lap at the time, currently 3rd. He was shaking his head right after. Matt Craftsman, though, looking good so far through 3 and 4.
How different this place must feel and look to him, a guy who's raced here in a truck before, and we keep hearing just how different this place is 12 years later.
Only 10th quick for Matt. He didn't choose to pull down off the front straightaway. I think if you get through 3 and 4 properly, you really want to go down there, don't you, Carson?
Yeah, I'm not sure why you wouldn't, honestly, but we'll watch Corey Day and see if he does it right. You know, probably the greenest one for NASCAR racing. We'll see. You know, Tyler Greed on the box or up on the spotter stand. I'm sure. You know, he's told Corey exactly what to do. You know, I know what the pre-race notes of, and it looks super impressive for what they do. And obviously Corey Day working with Josh Wise as well, and has a lot of people as he gets really high off turn 4. I had to lift there. That's going to hurt the lap. Not too bad, 8th, 22.50, but that definitely hurt the lap there. But definitely heads up.
All the spotters up there?
Yeah, everybody up there.
Wind's whipping a little bit too. I wonder if that, and you see the American flag is going behind them. That means it's pushing the trucks up the hill off turn 4, and that's where we're seeing most of the problem. Wonder if that wind could be affecting them a bit.
Yeah, Jack Wood got loose into 1 there, but Jack, I feel like he's been really good at qualifying here, so I'm expecting a pretty good lap, especially with his teammate going quick time right now, provisional pole. But Jack Wood early back to the throttle, you heard that on your TV screen, but gonna see if he cuts. Not really. They're gonna end up 12th there. Not gonna be super pumped with that lap, I'm sure, but yeah, having good notes with that truck. Gio Ruggiero, we talked about him. You know, kind of stormed onto the scene, really good at Daytona. Been kind of hot and cold a little bit so far, but you're going to have that, you know, how early he is into his career.
Wow, that just looks so fast. That looked perfect through turns 1 and 2. Let's see if he can deal with 3 and 4 appropriately.
14th quick in practice for Gio Ruggiero.
It's going to be better than that here.
That looked really good
top
off
10
turn 4.
starts this year.
Everything looked great about that lap.
Nice. 22-21 for Gio Ruggiero.
Michael, can you tell this is a new replay of how close the times are right now?
I can tell. Oh, that was a mistake for Raja.
And that'll off the wall.
That's going to hurt the lap.
Yeah, that took care of this lap. He'll just have to try to salvage what he can.
That truck looks loose right now. Looks like a handful. You see the back end sliding around, even off of 2. Just looks very unstable, obviously. And Raja, you're in conservative mode, right? You know you're not going to get the pole. You just had a moment into 3. Just don't get greedy here. That's what you got to do. Just put together a solid lap and you know, just move on and be ready to race. You'll see him 11th.
Just clips the apron down here in 3 and 4, and that shoots his truck right there. It just shot it right up the hill, and it got loose as well. So.
A lot of hopping in that truck, too. You know, we've seen trucks be smoother, and definitely going to have to go to work on that number 71 Chevrolet. You see Daniel Hemrick. You started first last time we were at Bristol, but got thanked for the rain. Let's see if he could you know, improve on his teammate and try to go back-to-back starting on the front row.
Good solid lap for Daniel. Nice 3 and 4.
These trucks look very smooth, really light with the rear end. Going to go 9th. Yeah, a little shocked at that lap.
How about Napa Auto Parts? They've been in this sport for so many years. It's really cool to see Daniel carrying their colors as our buddy Grant Enfinger comes to the line. I know there's a gentleman in Franklin, Tennessee that is smiling at those chrome numbers on the side of that number 9. ODW, he loved him some chrome numbers. And sure he's tuned in checking out Grant Enfinger here.
Beautiful looking trucks. CR7 Motorsports is bringing to the racetrack. He was 10th in practice.
This is such a commitment. He's 11th so far in this session, but what a commitment it is for these drivers to go out there and run these kind of speeds at Rockingham. It's amazing.
Many more drivers still to come, like that man, Lane Riggs. Stay with us. You're watching qualifying from the Rock. In qualifying, just a reminder, 5 Eastern this afternoon, the trucks will take to the track for race number 8 of the season. Caden Honeycutt, you like the speed? You like what you saw out of this truck?
I do. I like everything about it right now. I like the speed of the 44. I like the speed of the 45. Phil Gould, everybody. You know, I know what this team is capable. You know, Caden Honeycutt, super strong, super impressive talent that I think could be, you know, really a big star, especially this year. So, yeah, I like everything about it. I know how big of a struggle I had in the niche trucks at Martinsville, so the fact he was really close to winning, I think, says a lot about him. And not liking this lap,
out of the
gas, that's going to hurt him.
I'll tell you what, though, I'm not going to say this again. I promise, Jamie.
It was third.
That was going to be well into the 20, low 20. Mid-21s. I mean, just an amazing lap because it just looked so perfect through 1 and 2. And then he had to come all the way out of the gas and still only missed being the fastest by 200 of a second.
I was looking down the leaderboard. I was like, where is he? I was like, he can't be that bad. Third right there. That's just tells you how good of a lap he had leading up to that big moment.
Carson, I'm not used to this. Those trucks going through 1 and 2, it just blows my mind how fast they cut through the center of 1 and 2.
Gosh.
And then
that moment.
He was heavy on the gas and just...
He's going to be reliving this lap all the way until...
He wins the race today, and it'll be fine.
It'll be fine. If he doesn't win the race today, that lap, that 3 and 4 was going to be the difference, I'm sure. You know, just because that's how you got to think. Jake Garcia having a sneaky good season so far and good speed.
5 top 10 starts. They've been on a roll when it comes to qualifying. You heard him talk to Amanda, very confident in what they're doing, the trucks they're bringing to the track. They're working well together, and to the top he goes. Jake Garcia sets the benchmark, 22:05.
We're getting really close. 21:98 was the fastest time in January at the test. And Jake Garcia just a little under a tenth close. And now he's got his teammates, though. He's got, Ben Rhodes, to fire off and see if he can knock off the young gun of Jake Garcia off the top.
See him shaking those tires there, just trying to get a little extra heat in them down the back straightaway so he can run hard to that.
I've always been a believer that does nothing other than just mental. Like, it just feels good that you did something.
Well, you're trying all you can, any tool you can pull out of your toolkit to try to get the pole. That's what he's doing. Nice 1 and 2 again.
Looks really good.
See if the trouble spot over off turn 4 bites Ben Rose really solid into that corner. This is a good lap.
Really low. Out of the rubber even through the middle of 3 and 4. Going to be really low. Let's see if he can. Oh, so close. Going to be second right there. Just a little over a 10th off. That tells you how good of a lap Jake Garcia
put up. I think we're going to see someone dip down into those 21s. It's some really good trucks yet to go.
Yeah, a good heavy hitter. Lane Riggs going to start us off for the front row camp. Lane obviously super fast, second in practice, feels good about his truck, and I think the track could be getting a little faster too. That rubber starting to get peeled up a little bit. Maybe helping these guys out. If not, just being able to find more as they go on and watch.
They found something with this truck when it comes to qualifying. First 3 races of the year, they were 16th or worse. Now they've qualified 4th, 7th, and 9th. So finding their way.
Oh, a little low there. You saw the truck bottom out and a little bit of smoke off that left front tire when the fender.
I haven't seen that
down.
before.
No, I know. He just got off the road a little bit and does it again. He likes that low lane, and look, it's going to.
That truck looks loose, so it definitely just trying to be as low as he can.
Watch that left front. This is crazy. Right there, it dips off the road, and that just put a little extra travel in that side, and up he goes.
We went 4th quick at 22.196. Still a good lap, but yeah, you wonder if just a little bit of Packer or just a little higher on a self-driving adjustment could have fixed that. But when you have one lap, you just don't know.
Tyler Ingram, you see his best start this season of 2nd.
I like this riding with him. Hear him really not ever all the way out of the gas, coming to the green flag. Let's see what he does down here in 1 and 2.
Oh, real loose on entry.
Yeah.
Got back into the gas, recovered well, but
that's
definitely going to hurt the lap because that's the easy side of the corner. I think that's where everybody's been really close. This is where you make your money. Just dancing with it. You can see that truck just dancing left and right the whole time. Going to go 13th quick with a 22.495. Definitely going to not be too thrilled with that lap, but on the bright side, it's clear why that lap was what it was, right? It's the worst when you're like, I drove pretty good. We're 13th.
You don't want to hear that, do you?
Welcome back to the Truck Series. Sammy Smith hasn't run a whole lot of truck races in his career. This is just the 6th time behind the wheel.
Sammy Smith was a bit of a part of the controversy at Martinsville after a big late race crash. NASCAR penalized him for.
For him, this truck race is important for him. It's another race to try and earn some keen back, put his face up there, and ultimately, right. It's just another race that his goal should be, right. If just because I know I've had these conversations, just good smooth day. Let's not be a headline unless we win the race.
This is a heck of a lap here. Really good through 1 and 2. Off the road he goes. He's top 10.
22.35.7. Yeah, solid lap. Left rear was had just a little bit of smoke on it at that time, so we've seen the left front and now the left rear, Michael.
Well, then there were 2, and these are 2 hot rods. See what Corey Heim can do. 2 poles this season. It's just been an amazing year for this young man.
It's in the conversation every single week, and every time people are like,
nope.
Slides up the racetrack.
Whew. Man. That was close, wasn't it? You don't have any grip up there, but it seemed like he just kept his leg in it.
That's the experience, right? That's just him knowing the limit and be able to hold on to it. Another big wiggle, but I mean, he's holding on to it, but he knows the limit. He can get away with it a lot more than other guys and keep his foot in it and hold on to it and know how loose this thing. He's going to self-adjust here, hopefully hold that thing on the rubber. Going to see what he gets. I bet it's 14th, a little worse than I thought, but.
That was crazy how close he came to that outside wall and was able to still run a decent lap, but this thing is out of whack.
This is where it really his loss of lap time was, right? Coming to the green, you're already starting in a hole, and the thing's not going to drive great. Yeah, just really loose here.
All right, can he do it?
Final truck, Chandler Smith, last week's winner at Bristol. Best start, a 3rd, looking for their first pole of the season.
We saw our front row just a minute ago watching intently, knowing how good the 38 truck has been. Running a little higher in the rubber, trying to get a good run to the green. Going to come to the green as big of arc as he can get to start that lap and have as much speed coming into one. Looks really good firing off here, right on the bottom in the rubber. Really good off two. Not all the way track it out, which knows, you know, he had pretty good grip through 1 and 2. Really aggressive back of the throttle. Jake Garcia on the right of your screen.
Does he break his heart?
Second. So
Look
close.
at that smile. Jake Garcia, the 20-year-old from Monroe, Georgia. First career pole. Let's hear from him, Amanda.
Yeah, he just said off camera that the waiting was the worst part. And Jake, the conversation today has been how difficult it will be to pass tonight. You pull out your first career win to lead this return at the Rock. How crucial was that today?
Yeah, I thought that was a really big deal. I said in my interview with you earlier that qualifying was going to be important. So really proud of my guys. You know, I just hold the steering wheel. So they did a really good job, brought me a really fast truck. So hopefully we can get this Quanta Services F-150 out front and keep it there. But yeah, really good start to our weekend, and hopefully we can keep it going.
I have to say, I absolutely love that thumbs up to the camera. And when you talk about the confidence building that you're going under right now, how satisfying is this milestone?
Yeah, you know, it's really, really good after the year we had last year. You know, we just got our ducks in a row, you know, and they're clicking good runs off. And I feel like we come to the racetrack pretty close every week, and you know, that just makes everything go way smoother. And you know, we have a fast truck, you can run up front and get some points and have good runs. So yeah, really happy with all my guys. They did a really good job this week, and hopefully we can keep it out front.
First career pole never disappoints, Jamie.
Yeah, and Jake Garcia, he mentioned last year it was tough for them. That was a change for him, moved over to Thor Sport. It took some time to adjust, but he and J-Rod are just firing on all cylinders, and he's got the most coveted spot to start the race tonight first.
Well, and we talked about track position, and I think that's going to be key. With all the speed, it's going to be hard to pass. So, and it might only be a one-stop race. I've heard a lot of crew chiefs discussing whether they would stop twice or not. I don't know about tire wear after that practice session, but you can see it's all smiles for Jake Garcia and his team.
Let's hear from our front row starter, Chandler Smith, starting outside front row. Todd?
Yeah, Chandler, so close, man. Second place. You got a win coming off of Bristol, second starting today. Been a good run so far.
Yeah, I know. Had a pretty solid practice here. You know, super proud of everybody on this 38 team. That was our first ever 50-minute practice session together, I believe. So everybody worked together, learned a lot, and yeah, had a solid qualifying there. And I don't know, we'll see how this number 38 QuickType Products Ford F-150 runs in the race.
Yeah, you say that's your first practice together, long practice together with you and your crew chief, John Leonard. Really looks like your communication, you know, we know this team got started late, but the communication is there already.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, just from right out of the gates, me and my crew chief, John Leonard, hit it right off the bat. So I think that's a huge testimony and why this group is so well meshed and why we've been clicking so well. So big tip of the cap to John and his leadership to this 38 team, and appreciate everything that he does.
Amanda?
And Todd, it'll be a second row start for Connor Mosack. And now that we've had practice and qualifying, what's your assessment on the track here?
Track's still really fast. It's definitely feels like it's lost a little bit of grip, probably just because of the temperature since the test, but I feel like everything we learned has been applying. So we'll see. I was really happy with our truck in clean air in practice, but not so much in dirty air, so we tried to work on that, and maybe gave up a little single car speed and a little tight there to qualify, but starting up front's really good here. It's definitely, I feel like, going to be a track position race, so thanks to my guys for building a fast Friends of Jacqueline Foundation Chevy.
When Todd and I were in the garages earlier today, we heard so many different directions of what strategy might look like tonight. What have you and your team discussed?
We've discussed some options. You know, whatever really is going to end up probably giving you track position at the end of the race. It doesn't seem like the fall off is very big on tires. So, you know, maybe a no tire or two tire stop for sure later in the race, but we'll hopefully learn what we can on the tires in, you know, the first half of the race.
Thank you, Connor. Sounds unpredictable, Jamie.
It certainly does. 4 sets of tires for these teams tonight. Looking forward. I love that we don't have notebooks for these teams. It's all from scratch, but it's all been about that man, Jake Garcia, getting the pole for tonight's race.
500 miles of asphalt, deep in the heart of Alabama. is the home of chaos and chance.
Here we go.
Passing opportunities. How do you create opportunities for yourself tonight?
Yeah, that's a good question. I'm looking forward to see how Rockingham spreads out. Obviously, we haven't been here a very long time, so with the repave, it's going to be interesting. I think we have a really good sort of sense Ford F-150, qualified 12, so got a little bit of work to do, but I think we can work our way up and have a good race.
You told me off camera that this race tonight is going to be very interesting, and you also said how cool it is to be back here at Rockingham Speedway. What do you think the fans are going to get tonight?
I think a good show for sure. I think this place can either be really racy and it can spread out, or it can get spread out and be single file. So we'll just have to see, obviously, how the rubber changes with Xfinity practice, and it's going to be unique. And all the fans better tune in because it's going to be a show.
Well, Todd, that's the promo we needed to hear right there.
Yeah, Corey Heim, you're pretty good in practice, right? But to go out there for qualifying, you kind of had your hands full a little bit. Starting 15th, you're going to look like a hero coming to the front.
Yeah, we'll see. I thought we were in good shape in practice. We were definitely on the edge of being too free, kind of the whole run there, doing that 50-minute practice. And then, just haven't raced here in so long, don't really have a data point for a qualifying adjustment and just miss it a little bit too free. And I feel like this is one of those places, there's so much load, you're going so fast that if you just barely get a little too loose, it's tough to keep up with. So, not starting where we need on a track position-based racetrack, but got a lot of faith in my Chalk on Garage guys to get me back up there. I feel like we've got a really good safe flight Thunder 2D Pro, and should be a lot of fun today. Gonna have to make some moves.
So you're known as one of the guys that studies film a lot, does a lot of sim. How much did you actually prep for Rockingham?
Yeah, it was definitely tough. I mean, you can't really look at anything from what they did in the early 2010s and before that because of the repave, and probably going 2 seconds faster than they were back then. So, I feel like TRD and Toyota did a great job getting us a decent sim track to run some laps on, and we had a lot of data that we collected from our test here a couple months ago, but never did a qualifying run. Had no reason to. So that was kind of the last piece of the puzzle as far as making our truck really good and, all the way around. But the race pays, so we're going to go for that.
Yeah, I wish you guys got to race on the ice skating rink that we used to race on here.
Yeah, not quite.
Jamie?
It'll be fun to watch Corey Heim come from 15th. We've seen him do it a couple of times this year. We'll see if he can get the win, which would be his third of the year. Well, it's been fun. Carson Hocevar, great having you with us. She'll be with us coming up tonight. Michael Waltrip, and of course, Amanda Busick on pit road, and Todd Bodine will be back with us. Join us tonight coming up at 5 Eastern. We are back. Rockingham Speedway back on the calendar for NASCAR. Hope that you join us. Coming up next, it's America's Day at the Races. I'm Jamie Little. We'll see you back here in just a few hours.